Well, it's that time of the week again, and Group D at YieldMax announced their distributions. We'll take a look at those, and we'll also take a look at my 2 swing trades that I did open yesterday. Hello, my friends. This is Legend. So today, YieldMax Group D did announce their distributions, and in that mix is Ulti and MSTY, along with SMCY. So we'll check out those and see what they're paying out. And then we'll also take a look at the 2 swing trades that I did have open and find out what I did today. So let's just go ahead and check out the YieldMax Group D distributions. And in Group D, we have AIYY, AMSI, Aptly, DISO, MSTY, SMCY, Winter, XYZY, YQQQ. And then we have our weekly payers over here: CHPY, GPTY, LFGY, QDTY, RDTY, SDTY, Ulti, YMAG, and YMAX. So let's just go right over to the distribution sheet that they sent out this morning, and let's take a look. All right, so here we are on that announcement sheet, and this is, again, for Group D. As you can see right here in blue, Group D for August the 27th. Now, this is the announcement sheet. They will go X tomorrow on the 28th. So therefore, if you do not already own the shares, you will not earn the distribution for what you are seeing here. And that payout date is on Friday. So let's just go ahead and start off with our weeklies right here. And we'll start off right here with CHPY. And that is the semiconductor ETF fund. And it's going to pay out 39 cents. GPTY, 29 cents. LFGY, 44 cents. Now that is a 65% distribution rate. And once again, we are sticking around that percentage at around that 40 some cents, right? So it's been pretty steady as far as in the payouts go. QDTY with 28 cents. RDTY with 45 cents. And that's a 51% distribution rate. SDTY, 19 cents. Ulti, we hit the 9 cents this week. And that's still an 85% distribution rate, but we did drop below our 10 cents. But that's okay, because we've had the 9 cents before, but we've been receiving that 10 cents for quite a while now, right? So it's something you start kind of getting used to. But again, the market has had pretty rough times, and I am not really surprised that distribution rate dropped a little, right? I thought actually it was going to drop a little last week, but we did earn still that 10 cents last week. But this week we did take a little bit of a drop in that distribution. But still, 9 cents, I'll take that at an 85% distribution rate. Then we have YMAG at 11 cents and YMAX at 13 cents. And that one is a 55% distribution rate. So nothing earth-shattering here, but I'll take it, right? Now let's jump over to the ones for Group D that pay out every 4 weeks. And we'll start off right here with AIYY with 11 cents, AMSI with 49 cents, Aptly with 34 cents, DISO with 33 cents, and next will be MSTY. Let's just see. Are we staying above that dollar? Why, yes, we are. We have $1.08. Nice. That's an 81% distribution rate. Now, I know it is low, right? But, like I said before, the market has just been rough. Bitcoin has dropped. So, this is not anything that should really surprise too many people, because Bitcoin has dropped a good bit. And since MSTY is using Mr. as the underlying, and Mr. has dropped, it just goes to make sense of why our distribution would be lower, right? But it did stay above that dollar, and that's what I was looking for. So for that, and considering how everything has been lately, I'm good with $1.08. Not excited, as I would much rather have $2, right? Just like the rest of you, but I am happy to be above $1. And check out SMCY. Look at that, $1.30. Very nice with 102% distribution rate. Wow. Go SMCY. They have just been rocking it, haven't they? Congrats to everybody out there with SMCY. A very nice distribution. Winter with $2.19. That's a nice number at 85% distribution rate. XYZY with 43 cents and YQQQ with 23 cents. So it looks like SMCY percentage-wise actually did the best, right? They got 102% distribution rate and paid out $1.30. Now Winter paid out the most in dollar amount, right? They paid out the $2.19. So good jobs on those. Now next week will be Group A. And in Group A, we will have the same weeklies, right? And then we'll have the ones that pay out every 4 weeks. And then we'll also have BRKC, Crash, Feet, Fivey, Gooey, OARC, RBLY, Snowy, Tesla, TSMY, Zomo, and YBit. Now, I don't really have anything in Group A, but I do have a couple of the weeklies, right? I have YieldMax, and of course now I also have Ulti. So I'll be looking forward to those next week as well. So now, yesterday I had showed where I had done a swing trade, and I opened up a couple positions. I started one in Walmart, and I started one in Coca-Cola. So let's just take a look at that on the Webull chart, and let's just see where they're sitting and what move I made today. All right, so here we are on the first one here of Coca-Cola. The ticker symbol is KO. And as you can see today, it did drop, right? It's got that long wick on the bottom. I'm going to zoom in here. It actually dropped as low as 68.47, right? Before going up and actually closing green. It actually ended up going up about 10 cents for the day. But what did I do on this one? I actually bought a couple more shares. And here's the order form, and you can see this last one right here. KO, being Coca-Cola, I did purchase 2 shares at $68.60 per share, and that was filled. So at $68.60 and the low being $68.47, I feel like I did pretty good on that deal. That did end up bringing my average down just slightly, but it took it down to $68.79. Current price being $68.83, therefore I am up on the play by just a few pennies, right? And I have now a total of 6 shares at $68.79 per share on average. Now I ended up purchasing those shares today because it was below my average. Even though that the RSI might have been up, right? It might have been above the 10, but since it did drop, my guess is it was probably below the 10. But I'm not necessarily looking at the RSI 2 because that is my entry, right? Once I get my entry, then I am just really looking at that price. And if it is under the price, then I can look to buy it. If it is below that 10 on the RSI 2, then that could be more of a reason to buy it, right? But I don't have to necessarily wait to make sure that RSI 2 is below 10 once I'm in it. I can just make that decision off of the price itself. If it is below my average, then I can buy. I may not buy if it's not below it much, right? Because if it's not going to really push the needle much, then I may wait to see if we get a bigger down day so that I can average it down better, right? And otherwise, if I have an average of $68.79 and the price of the stock is $68.75, then I probably am not going to necessarily buy another share because that's only 4 cents there, right? And if I'm only buying another 2 shares, it's not going to move that 68.79 down much. I might get it down a penny, right? Because this is off of 6 shares and I'd only be buying 2 shares. So not much of the move on the needle. Now, if it comes out and say it's $68 even, then I may go in and buy a couple shares, right? Because that's going to help bring it down. So all I'm doing right now is just averaging it in if it is below my price. Now, once the stock price is above my cost average, then I'm not necessarily going to be buying stocks, right? I'm not going to be averaging up in this. I will be looking to see if I can put a stop above my cost, right? Because I'm swinging this. I am just looking to get in and get out with some profit, right? In hopes that it rides on up and I can keep moving my stop up and make a few bucks off of it. And that's really what I'm doing right here. Now, what's my trigger points? Well, we can move over to the moving average just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking for, right? It hasn't hit it yet, so that's why I haven't really talked about it much. As you can see, this moving average 5, which is this green line right here, I'm wanting and looking for this candle to go up above that MA5. If it goes up above it and it stays up here, then I can possibly put my stop at the MA5, right? And that would be my kick out point. So if the stock would happen to drop back down, touch it, it's going to kick me out. Now the idea is that this will turn around, move back up before this MA5 drops on down past my average right here. Because if that happens, then I have to make a decision if I want to set my stop at that MA5 or do I want to just ride it out a little bit, right? Because the overall stock moves up, and that's what we were looking at yesterday. And that's why I look for stocks that overall long term they move up. Because if I have to hold on to it before it moves back up above my average, then I can do that, right? That's not a problem because overall I'm seeing where this stock is moving up. And that just means I'm in the play a little longer. But on something that I feel has a probability of moving on up, I have no problem with it. So I will be looking for that kick out on that MA5. And once we get a little closer and the stock chart starts changing and the candles start moving toward that, then we'll talk a little bit more about that. But for right now, I made another purchase because it was below my average and it helped bring me down. I think my original was 68.88, so that took me down to 68.79. So let's just take a look at Walmart and let's see where we're at on Walmart. And here we are on Walmart. And what did I do for Walmart for today? Well, I ended up purchasing on that one as well. And let's just take a look to see what I bought it at. Here we are, right there, Walmart. I purchased 2 shares at $95.90 and it was filled, right? So 2 shares at $95.90 and that brought my average down to 96 even, right? And that gave me a total of 5 shares at that 96 even. It actually closed at 96.08, so it is above my cost, but not by much. And like I said, if this is going to continue moving up, I need it to cross up and get up above that MA5 so that I can set my stop at the MA5. Currently that's at 96.60, right? But it is pointed down, so even if this candle moves on up, this will take a little bit before it kind of starts turning back up, right? So we're going to need the candles to move on back up so that we can set our stop and to help lock in the profit. And just like KO, Walmart is up and to the right, right? So long term, even if I have to hold this one for a while, not a problem. I'll just average down if it's going to go down, but eventually it will go back up as long as history continues, right? And the history of these two they've been moving up. Nothing's guaranteed, of course, but all I've got is the history of the companies, right, to go off of. So I ended up purchasing more of Coke and more of Walmart. So I've increased my share count and decreased my average, which means both of them now, I own them below the current market price at the moment. So I'm excited to see how this is going to play out. And I will probably start getting back into my SPY puts and calls on that one as well. And just to kind of keep that one rolling, as that one did pay out quite nice last week. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. I wanted to do something a little bit different and trying to add a little bit more of what is going on in my portfolio, right? So I'm showing some of my swing trades and things like that just to add a little bit something different, right? So if you like this kind of content, I'd appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button and smash the like button. It helps the channel out. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, Legend out.